Have you ever wondered how these TikTok trends can become your own spiritual practice? Stay tuned because we're about to find out.
Do you want to know everything? What your heart won't say, but your soul can sing. From love to loss and the space between, she's got the light to lift the unseen. Hope, healing, and transformation. Do you want to know everything? Do you want to know everything?
Hey everyone, my name is Lisa Williams and thank you for watching Hope, Healing, and Transformation. And today we're going to be talking about a TikTok trend, which I don't really like TikTok and I don't really enjoy that whole side of things. However, I think it's powerful. It is not the Nicki Minaj standing on some random, I don't know what it is, in high-heeled shoes, crossing your legs, because that's what my daughter was trying. And trust me, it didn't quite work well. And I have seen some disastrous things that have happened on those TikToks. But what I am going to be talking about is this TikTok trend that has swept around for this whole month. And honestly, before you go on and go, oh my God, another TikTok trend, it is about your spiritual growth. So hear me out here. It is called the monthly curriculum. And it is about setting these small but achievable goals that are kind of like, you know, they're wholesome monthly goals. They're there for you to actually grow. I think it's fantastic. And it could be something like reading a book or journaling once a week or cooking some new recipe or trying out a creative hobby. Now, on the surface, this is like super cute and everything else, totally harmless. You're not standing on some like, I don't know, banister that is like, 4 inches square in these high heels. It is totally harmless. And it kind of goes on that New Year resolution, that New Year, New Me kind of vibe, but on a much more miniature scale and something that's actually a lot more achievable. So let's break this down and let's go deeper because this is an opportunity for real lasting change. This is not just about a checklist that looks good on your Instagram feed like, oh my God, hey, look at this. Woo, 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 woo. I've done this. So today we're going to unpack it about why this trend is so popular right now and how you can adapt it and become this soul-centered practice that really supports your healing and your growth. It's powerful. This is the sneaky perfectionism like trap that people are falling into again. And we want to talk about how we can avoid it. And of course, I'm going to give you my 10 cents on it. And I'm going to give you your way of creating your own monthly curriculum. And you can do it. So if you wanted to, you can go to lisawilliams.com/free gift. And you can start your own curriculum right there without burning out or losing your joy. But let's start about where we're going with this. All right. So the monthly curriculum is this thing that's blowing up. And, you know, I started to look at it and I started to see some people, and there are some major influencers about it. There is Parmesan Princess X. She's super, super inspirational, but no real single person has kind of been broadly recognized as the sole originator of this trend from what I'm reading and from what I've seen. And trust me, I've been looking at this, okay? But it's really out there for mothers and teenagers. And I found it quite inspirational about looking at this, because quite honestly, when we start looking about these trends, I'm like, oh, I don't even want to get into it. It's not me. But I found that it was absolutely fantastic. And what's happened is this movement has been taken on quite quickly. And it's really about creating your own goals, which I think are fantastic. So let's look at the truth of it all, truly. How many times this week have you said, I'm exhausted, or I'm tired, or I need to go to bed, or I wish there was more hours in the day? How many times? Okay. Because the truth is, my friends, we're exhausted. Everyone is exhausted. I don't know who you are, where you're listening to this from, But tell me sometime in your life that you haven't been exhausted. Our lives sometimes feel like this giant to-do list. Listen, I've got my own to-do list here. This is the one that I took traveling. I rip it out. I do like a written down to-do list. And I have all of this to-do list on here. And honestly, it overwhelms the crap out of me. And I get things done. I absolutely get things done. But it's normally in the evenings where I just want me time because I have been working my ass off all day. And the last thing I want to do is look at my to-do list at night. It's just reality. And so we didn't sign up to have this, to-do never ending to-do list. And honestly, we sometimes feel out of control. So when we do have this sense of control, sometimes it is writing things down. But what we want control that is manageable. And often it's in these tiny or small little curated projects like what I'm talking about, this monthly curriculum. So when you look at TikTok right now, you'll see all these fabulous videos, these soft lighting, these gorgeous planners, all of that, the coffee that's neatly stacked by this pile of books, and the creators saying, here's my monthly curriculum. And it is 2 chapters a week and stretch every morning. I've tried a new recipe and send a handwritten letter to a friend. Okay, that's great. That really is fabulous. But here is what is happening in that moment. That may sound a lot, but in this space of that we're living in this world, sometimes just reading those 2 chapters a week, stretching every morning, is actually hard. Do you know there's the statistic out there that less than 1% of people read a book a year? Now, if you're anything like me, I read every day. Okay, but 1% of people, less than 1% of people read a book on average a year. I've been guilty of it. I've bought books. I thought, I'm going to read that. I'm going to read this. I'm going to do the other. No, it's never happened. Okay. But here's why this monthly curriculum works, my friends. Okay. 1, it creates a structure. Our brain needs this structure. You need a structure. Let me tell you the reason why. Your brain needs to feel safe, and structures help it feel safe. Totally. 2, it's creative. Okay. It's fun to pick new goals for a month. It's fun to have this idea. And it's also really good to do with friends. And then 3, you've got these small little wins instead of this giant to-do list or this big, long New Year's resolution that you are committing to. You're committing to doing these things in small increments rather than, I'm gonna go to the gym for the next year, and it barely lasts 30 days. All right, I'm telling you, it really doesn't. Okay, psychologically, we think, or I think, it makes total sense. The brain releases this dopamine, okay, when we're checking something off a list. And it's powerful. And this monthly reset means that we get these hits more often. Now, let's talk about this. I like to do it daily. All right. And I will talk about this in a second. Because there is that other side of it, that shadow side, that we can end up creating a life that looks intentional without actually feeling intentional. It's almost like reading that book that you've gone, I've read the book, but you can't remember a damn thing that you read. Okay? Absolutely. Because we perform this productivity instead of experiencing transformation. So here's where I thought, you know what, I'm going to come in, because you know me, I'm not here for these surface level truths or trends. I want to do the soul work. I want to get in. I want to get in and into it all. Okay. So let's talk about how we can take this concept and infuse it with meaning. Now, I'm not saying that this TikTok trend of the monthly curriculum isn't meaningful. I'm not. And I'm not saying it isn't soulful, but I want it to be more than a trend. This is like creating this soul-centered monthly curriculum. And let's talk about it having 5 pillars. And this is what I was looking at today. And I was really, really hashing this out, trying to come with this idea. Because first of all, we've got to look at we're going to cover mind, body, spirit, creation, and service. Okay. These 5 elements. And I think we can talk about our mind, body, and soul, but let's talk about creating and let's talk about service as well. Now, every single day, some of you may have heard me talk about this over recent months or recent, weeks, is I have been doing something that's called the Miracle Morning, or the Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Now, this dopamine hit, I get that every single day. When I go onto my app of the Miracle Morning, I can actually see my app, and the only thing I haven't done today is my exercise, and that is because I just didn't do the exercise. No other reason than that. But yesterday I did the exercise, and I have all of my stuff that I like to do. But my tracker tells me that I can check all of these things off, and it gives me a dopamine hit. So every morning I sit in silence and I have this prayer, this meditation, or sometimes I'm just focusing. What I personally like to do is I like to put a timer on, and I like to really do laser focused silence. Then I do my affirmations and I do my visualization. Then sometimes I'll do my exercise. I do exercise 5 days out of 7. And then I do my reading. And today I was reading. And then I also journal as well. And so all of these 5 elements, or these 6 elements that I do every single morning, it has become my I guess my monthly curriculum. And what I'm doing are 30-day challenges. And over those 30-day challenges, even yesterday when I was so late, I did all 6 of them in a very short period of time, because I knew I wasn't going to be my optimum or working at my optimal until I'd done them. Even when I had to get up for a flight at 5 a.m. in the morning, I still did them. I got up a little bit earlier, only 10 minutes, and I did what Hal Elrod calls his savers. And I did that there's a 6-minute saver that you can do for time that you are short. And so I think that it's so powerful. So I wanted to talk about, in this monthly curriculum, this hyper trend that is going on right now in TikTok, the one that I want to talk about has 5 pillars. So let's talk about this. The mind. All right. So what we want to do is you want to think about what is it that you're committing to that can expand your mind. It expands your thinking or your self-awareness. So for me, you could do journal prompts to strengthen your intuition, or you could read a book that challenges your beliefs. So what would that be? What would that book be that challenges your beliefs? I have been reading the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That actually has been a really hard book for me. It's been a really, really challenging book. One, I think it's a little dated. 2, it's definitely American. It's very old American. When I say it's old American, they're talking about things that I have no concept of, things that most Americans have actually been brought up with, but I wasn't, because I'm English. And so, they're talking about a lot of the movement, things that I don't know of or have no concept of. So I'm actually learning about it in the book, which it's the original version, which I'm finding a little challenging. So it's actually been challenging. And so it's been good for me to actually follow that book. Um, Definitely journal prompts. Journal. I don't enjoy journaling, my friends. I really don't. No, don't want to do it. But what I've actually done is I've actually expanded my mind by looking at the journal prompts and saying I have to really focus on this. Okay, really important. Now, the second one, let's also talk about the body. This is a practice that we support our physical energy, our physical health. And it could be anything. So, when I talk about what I do in the morning, my exercise can be a simple cat cow in yoga, which is arching your back and then stretching your back, okay, and trying to create a little bit more of the opposite arch. So stretching my back, all right, really waking up my spine. Sometimes that's my exercise. Sometimes I'm dancing. Sometimes I'm punching in the air. Sometimes I'm doing jumping jacks. Sometimes I'm doing press ups. Sometimes I'm doing a whole yoga routine. But there is something that I am actually doing every single day to get myself into an optimal state and to get my blood pumping. So I'm going to say to you, challenge yourself. Is it a mindful walk in nature? Is it dancing in your kitchen to a song a day? I also, listen, I am all about this. I also downloaded, I'm such a nightmare for these things. Where is it? I also downloaded this Dance Fit Me, all right, thing. So I'm actually learning these dances. So I feel like I'm doing a TikTok dance and I'm not really good at that. My daughter has tried before. It's not worked. She is very good at it. Um, but these dance fit exercises, it's kind of fun. We've got these little checklists. It's really kind of cool. It gives me that little dopamine hit and off I go. I swear, anybody looking in through my windows, which I have a lot of windows in my house, much think I'm batshit crazy. But hey, who cares? No one. I'm providing that entertainment and I'm okay with that. All right. So, first, mind, expand your mind. Second, expand your body. Do something that is good for your body. Three, let's talk about spirit. So, whether it's a daily or a weekly practice or ritual, to you to connect to something bigger than you. All right, maybe it's a pulling an oracle card every morning, do a meditation, lighting a candle, speaking with gratitude. Even if it's just, and this is something I really love to do, is sitting and imagining I'm floating in the whole universe, in the sky, in the vastness, in this this cosmos energy, and how I'm connected to all things, how I'm aware, just doing that is a universal sound, is the sound that embodies all the use of universal sounds in one. And when we are really connected to our deepest part of us, it's huge. We can feel like we're floating in the ethers. So I'm going to challenge you to do something that is bigger than yourself. A little meditation, connect in, walk, hug a tree, okay? Do something, speaking with gratitude. Be mindful of your language, especially when you're talking to others. Okay, so we have got mind, body, and spirit so far. Now let's talk about the fourth and the fifth. Let's talk about not one, but number four is creation. This creation is something that I'm going to say you make with your own hands. You create. You create. And I'll share something that I've been doing recently. I've been writing songs, and I have been writing with my I've been writing with my voice coach. Okay, my music coach. She is unbelievable. Her name is Emily. And I absolutely have a great love for Emily. She has pushed me out of my comfort zone. She's pushed me into writing music, which I never thought I could. I have an absolute love for it now. And so I have been writing meaningful songs that are all spirit driven, which have been amazing. I'm not saying you have to write music. I'm saying that you could bake some bread or cook or plant some herbs or go out into the garden, do something that shifts the energy. This is like it's alchemy, it's connection. When I was away last week, I was staying in this Airbnb, and she loved she had an apothecary, which I was like, oh my gosh, she created these herbal teas, and she came down with these bath salts that was lavender. It was stunning. It was absolutely amazing. But when you're in this place creating something that you say, I did that. I'm so proud of myself. I did that. Eating the cake that you baked, not just the food that you cook, but you went out your way to bake a cake, or you went out your way to, I don't know, create the garden of your dreams. Whatever it is, have creation. It's an accomplishment. I think it's powerful. It's beautiful. And let's go into the fifth one, which is service, acts of service. When we look at the love languages, what somebody's love language is often doing acts of service. And I don't know if you've ever done the love languages, but my love language, to know that I am loved, is time and touch. So if you're spending time with me and you're touching me, not inappropriately, but if you have just put your hand on me or given me a hug, that to me makes me feel loved. But my way of showing that I love you is by doing acts of service for you and giving you my time, because those are the two hardest things for me to actually carve time out of. But these acts of service can lift somebody else. It's not just about you, my friends. Okay, so maybe send a card just randomly out of the blue. One of my favorite things to do is send flowers. I love sending flowers because I love receiving gifts. I love receiving an Amazon card. I love receiving flowers, but receiving something is amazing. But when you're doing it, it's powerful. So send someone a card, buy someone a coffee, volunteer for a couple of hours, do something. It makes you feel good. There's magic in this moment of balance. It's not just about reading 4 books this month. It's nurturing all parts of you. You need to nurture all parts of you. So let's dive into it. So I'm kind of really loving this topic. I really am. When I started to think about it, I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of fun. But the more I started to thrash it out, the more I started to develop it, the more I kind of got really excited about it. Because I think that what we can do is we can create massive goals, and we can create these massive, huge goals that are sometimes unachievable. And I've just done it. Okay. I created this. I tweaked it a little bit. I created a goal of writing a book this year. But I want it a little bit quicker. So I broke it down. All right. And I think what I did is I totally broke it down and I made it smaller into bite-sized chunks. And that thing that I've created is coming out very shortly, which I'm very excited to share with you. But so I have one of my clients, and one of my clients I spoke to yesterday, and as I got on the phone, as I got on Zoom with her, I said to her, "How are you?" And she went, "I'm just awful." And I was kind of taken back by it. Okay. And what she had done is she had put everybody in front of herself, everyone, her child, her work, her family, her this, her that, everything put in front of her. And as I'm listening, and I let her go on for about 20 minutes, I said, stop. I have to give you some tough love here. And I said, you are the problem right now. You have stopped putting yourself first, and you have lost control, and you're spiraling. And the words out of her mouth immediately were, "You're right, I have." I said, "So what is it going to take for you to get back on track? And she said, I don't know. She sat there for a moment. And I said, it doesn't have to be big. These big sweeping goals are actually really hard. And she said, yeah, you're right. You're right. And I said, it's time to turn inward. Forget the noise outside of your body. Forget the fact that you need to create a business. You want to lose 20 pounds. You want to write a book all at once. Forget it. Okay? Forget it. Because right now, that is unachievable. And you will burn yourself out because it makes you feel like a failure because you haven't gotten it. And she sat there and she went, you're absolutely right. She said, I feel a failure. I said, well, you're not. The first part of you coming out of this is reaching out to me and saying, hey, I need help. Because putting yourself first means you have to stand up and say, hey, I need help. I do every single day. When I was away with Chris, and I don't get to be with Chris a lot, who's my husband. I might talk about him a lot, but I'm certainly not with him a lot. But over the week, I couldn't open certain things. So I just placed it in front of him. And without any question, and he was probably still in mid-conversation, he opened it, handed it to me, gave me a kiss, and carried on. It was me asking for help. Simple moments like that is very, very important. And so what we have to do is we have to stop looking at these big, massive goals, because sometimes they are so unachievable that you will go, I am a failure and I can't do this. So let's change this. Let's take this trend, this monthly curriculum idea, and let's do it. So let's imagine, and I said this to my client yesterday, I said, I want you to watch this movie. And I don't want you to do anything. I don't want you to go back on the horse or back on the bandwagon, but I want you to watch this movie. And I showed, and it was, and it actually was the Miracle Morning movie. And I wanted her to watch it because sometimes reading the book does not do you any justice. Sometimes you have to really become involved and get it into the movie and get into that place. And I said, that's what I want you to do. And this morning, I'll share this with you, and I'll share my text message from her was, wow, I just finished the Miracle Morning movie. This is incredible. It really taps into my soul. I was able to watch it quietly at home. Instead of doing laundry or doing whatever, I fixed something to eat and I sat down and watched it. It's really interesting because it's not about, and she talks about falling asleep, but she said, not because I fell asleep, not because it wasn't powerful, because I felt it was so powerful. My alarm is now set for 6 a.m. Thank you for sharing this with me. It's incredible. And then I messaged her this morning. She said, thank you so much, Lisa. I'm getting back onto the journey. Do I jump back in where I want to or whatever? And she said, and then I messaged her and she said, it's insane. I've carried this my whole life. And so we can make these changes. So let's swap these big like routines for small bite-sized monthly curriculums. Okay, so for the mind, maybe it's reading a chapter of a self-help book each week. Okay, so I like to read first thing in the morning, and I've been reading something, and it has to align with you that works for you. I've been doing the Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I also read Gay Hendricks' The Big Leap that my singing teacher told me to read. And the reason is because I get in my own way, people. I get in my own way. I am the self-sabotaging queen. I can get in my own way. All right. So I do something that is going to help me. My aim, my monthly curriculum is to finish a book a month. But I'm going to say to you, read one chapter of a self-help book a week. It only has to be a few pages here and there, and then it'll build. Then for the body, all right, do something for the body. Maybe it's going out 10 minutes of stretching each morning. Maybe it's going for the walk and smelling and breathing fresh air. Maybe for your spirit, it's pulling a tarot card or an oracle card every Sunday. And the beginning, I'm looking at my cards here, pulling a card every day, or every, every Sunday, and journaling on it. Maybe it's trying a new recipe, or actually cooking in my part, actually cooking or trying a new recipe a month. Maybe it is calling a neighbor or somebody that might need your help once a week. Those acts of service are so important. And, I'll tell you that I'm talking from my perspective. After I've been doing this now, and this whole routine, and I've been doing my own, I guess, monthly curriculum, apart from I've been doing it every single day, and I've been doing a monthly challenge. I'll tell you, I feel calmer, I feel grounded, and I actually had this energy to do stuff. And it was important. And I finished the book that I had been writing. So I want you to start thinking about what it is that you can do. If you go to lisawilliams.com/free gift, in there, it is based on your healing. You have the ability to go into meditations every morning, some breath work every morning, some form of journaling prompts. Whatever it is that you need, it is in that space. lisawilliams.com/free gift. You'll find it. Now, did I do everything perfectly? Hell no. No. Did it matter? Was it messy? Absolutely. Was there sometimes I didn't want to get out of bed doing it? Oh, you are absolutely right. I didn't. Nothing was perfect, and it's never going to be perfect. So get rid of that perfectionism, all right? Please. Because it was in the shift, that shift, it was more about an intention. It wasn't about keeping a streak going, although I'm a little bit competitive and I want my little streak, but it was really about the intention behind it. So let's talk about this perfectionism, okay? Because this is the big elephant in the room, my friends. And if you're listening to me, then you will know that I am a perfectionist, and you are also probably a perfectionist, or you need it to be done in a certain way. I have a little person in my head, and I call her Veronica. I'm sorry if your name is Veronica, but that is my alter ego that tells me, oh, you're not good enough. I've named her. I've named her Veronica. And I'll go, I'm having a Veronica moment, or Veronica, she's here again. And I actually have a little song for her, okay, because that's me. But it's just this little Veronica in my voice that says, you can't do that, don't do that, you're not good enough, no. Why should you write this book? Everybody else has written that book before. And it is that. I'm telling you, she needs locking up and throwing away the key. Because it's in my head that's actually stopped me. It stopped me from doing the thing. And I'm going to tell you, this trend is ripe for this kind of trap. All right. So you kind of can get trapped into it because TikTok makes it look so aesthetically perfect that you might feel like you have to have this perfect planner, the perfect handwriting, this perfect life. Well, I'm going to tell you. All right. I have my little scribe here, because I like to keep everything in one place. And it's just easy for me to do. But in here, you can't really see it. But on here, I have my writing. My handwriting is not neat. It's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. Oh, that really is a mess. And I scroll and I scroll. And at that point, when this is just like messy, who cares? All right, here's my mantra. Progress is the goal, not the picture. All right. It really is. I have my affirmations. My affirmations are so important to me. And I do my affirmations. And there's a couple of affirmations that I really love to do because I got them from this book, The Big Leap. And it says, I expand in abundance, success, and love every day. And I inspire those around me to do the same. That's one of my affirmations. Then one of my other affirmations is again from this big book, all right, The Big Leap. It says, I commit to living in my zone of genius now and forever. I do. I will tell you this book is a difficult read. It's better on Audible. Sorry, Gay Hendricks. I do find it a little bit hard to read, even though it's a small book. But the audiobook was much better. I sailed through the Miracle Morning. I'm finding Think and Grow Rich a little bit challenging as well in my own mind, if I'm being perfectly honest. I have read many, many books, and I have them all on my Kindle Scribe because I just love reading it that way. And I can just dip in and out and I can write notes and do everything else. Anyway, but let's talk about this TikTok trend. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? In fact, I'm going to actually say to you, and I learned this from my music producer, it's going to get messy before it becomes perfect. Nothing is going to feel like right. It's not. You're going to feel like, oh, I'm not meditating rightly. I'm thinking about the laundry. I'm thinking about this. I've got the to-do list. Oh, the kids are driving me insane. Nah. All right, it's going to get messy. All right, no one can actually sit and like woo harness for a period of time. It's one of those things. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about how we avoid burnout. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about 3 to 5 intentional things to do. You don't have to cram in 20 things all at once. It's not going to be any good for you. All right. So cram in 3 to 5 with intention every day. My to-do list here, it drives me bloody insane. I can absolutely, oh, look at that. Look at that. I can mark one of those off right now because I have done that. Oh, look, I have just done that. I did that earlier. So I can start intentionally marking off 2 to 5 things a day. Sometimes it might not even be 2. Sometimes it's 1, but that one thing is a big thing. Don't cram it all in. Don't feel like you have to do it. Listen, I watched this girl on the reels. Beautiful house, blah, blah, blah. Perfect little, whatever like progress thing that she has. I'm like, girl, I ain't going anywhere near that. I'm barely checking up one. I've barely washed up today because I just have. I've barely loaded the dishwasher. I always make my bed. But anything else? Yeah, no, hasn't happened. Okay. Which brings me into allow for messy days. You can't, something is always messy, and allow it to be part of the process. Allow it to be part of the process. I'm telling you, I love it. There's days I don't put my makeup on. There's days I always make my bed. But there's days I'm just like, I just want to wear something comfy. Always get dressed and always clean. Always take care of me. But some days just have to be messy. Some days I will actually say to my sister, I'm sorry, I don't want to meet with you today. I'm having a day. And it's okay. The other thing is reflect. Have these moments of reflection more than you actually track your life, okay? So write down about how that particular practice made you feel. Not about whether you did it or not, but how do you feel about the breath work, okay? So for me, when I'm reading a book, I'll often write notes. Oh, today it's making me, this is what it's bringing up for me. It's triggering me. It's bringing up a thing for me. It's making this be important. It's just the way I like to work. So it's not a test. There isn't, you're not getting graded on it at school, is it? The only question that you have to ask is this bringing me closer to who I want to be? Is this bringing out the best in me? So let's move on with this. So I want you to pick one practice for each of these 5 pillars: mind, body, spirit or soul, creation, and service. And keep it simple. If it takes more than 15 minutes a day, you're actually overthinking it. You're doing too much. Sometimes my morning miracle will take me, sometimes I do allow it to take me an hour because I like to have that time in the morning. I like it to be me. Gone are the days that I am up and running out of the door. I like it to be me. I like to breathe. And then there's some days I follow the routine, the full scribers savers routine, and I do it for 15 minutes and I'm out the door. Okay. But think about how you want to start the day, and write it somewhere visible. Okay. I'm going to tell you, listen, get that journal that you bought. Do you remember that journal that you bought that you thought was too pretty to actually write in and that is sitting on your bookshelf gathering dust? Grab it. That one, grab it. You bought it and you didn't want to write in it because it was so nice. And you even bought a new pen, but you've used the pen. I've done that. All right, I'm going to tell you I've done it. Write it in that journal. All right, listen, your first page is always nice. Everything else just gets messy. Okay, you got a big old brownie point if you get that journal out. Okay, and then at the end of the month, reflect on what has worked for you, what didn't, and how it felt. Listen, I've got my own little journal here. All right, this is my notes and planner, and I love it, and I like to journal in it, and it's here, and I've got some of my innermost thoughts. Write it, just be part of it. Okay, just allow yourself to be in that space. Put positive affirmations up. I've got a whole poster right ahead of me of positive affirmations. Whatever it is, give yourself some ideas. Get these things. Just find something that can help you. So listen, these trends can come and go. They can absolutely come and go. But your soul work, it's going to be timeless. There's a whole world out there, which is a doorway. It's a doorway of opportunity. Don't get lost in the pretties, in the aesthetics of everything. Make this your own. Let it be a conversation between you and your life, you and your soul. And remember, you don't need that perfect checklist to be growing. In fact, far from it. You don't. Just allow yourself to be part of your own growth. And breathe. Just allow yourself to be part of that space and allow your life to flow. Realize that you're making progress, but sometimes it gets messy. Allow yourself to listen to yourself and listen to your own intuition, because your soul always knows the way. My name's Lisa Williams. Thank you for listening to Hope, Healing and Transformation, and I'll see you all again very soon.
Do you feel a whisper in the back of your mind, like the truth is waiting, but it's hard to find? Well, maybe there's magic in the words she brings. Close your eyes and listen in. Do you want to know everything? What your heart won't say, but your soul can sing. From love to loss and the space between, she's got the light to lift the unseen. Hope, healing and transformation. Do you want to know everything? Do you want to know everything?
Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, the information shared on this podcast is meant to inspire and support you, but it's not a replacement for personalized advice from a qualified professional. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who might benefit. And don't forget to tune in next time. Until then, take care and keep believing in something better.